what the hell were you thinking? In 2016, where the browser wasn't even ready, for those graphics.
In 2017, we were not even at 0.001% of where the world is right now. We like to take gambles. We were quite young. I had a whole, database of consumer behavior development over the past 5 years. I was seeing how fast consumer behavior shifts. 𝐲𝐨𝐿 at the time, he is like a web development mogul. So he understands how fast browsers develop. At the time where we were starting, we knew exactly where we were positioned, that the browsers were not sustainable enough for what it is that we do. Consumers don't even understand that what we do is actually a necessity. The brands didn't even know that. But we felt that being the first in the market will give us an advantage down the line. And we were all happy to sacrifice 1-2 years of building before we go to market. We didn't know, and we were not able to predict whether it was actually going to be 2 years or 5 years or 7 years working on this before we start making some money. But we were so young that our risk appetite was so much bigger and we had nothing to lose, so we went for it. Looking back, right now, as the Mike I am today, I was probably not going to make the same decision. and because it took us a while, it really took us a while. The brands were not able to understand our proposition when we started. We were not able to formulate a very captivating story as to what kind of problem we were solving for them. It was for many, many years a nice to have tool. And therefore we were only able to work with companies that they were able to innovate far ahead. And that's why that's like a double-edged sword, because at one edge, like your total addressable market is not big, but then again, you work with the companies that they have money, that they're seeing 5 years ahead, that they want to invest 5 years ahead. So therefore, you are working with the world's most innovative companies to build the world 5 years from now, and that gives you other kind of dynamics as you continue to grow. So that is what happened to us. Like we were going door to door, pitching from Boohoo and H&M and Johnson & Johnson and Sainsbury's and Argos, all the way to Apple, to Adidas and what have you. And we started seeing that 95% of the brands we were reaching out to, they didn't have time for us. But there was a 5% that not only they had time for us, not only they found what we were saying appealing, but they were willing to devote resources and money to perfection it for their own needs and strategic goals. So this small company we were at the time that nobody really knew about ended up working with the LVMH group, which is by far the #1 luxury group in the world, even in retail, Adidas and also Argos in London. So imagine what we were able to do. We were a small team focusing a lot on those three clients in completely 3 different sectors with different users, different characteristics, and we were building with them. And the moment, I remember the first time we went live with LVMH, it was for Fendi. Like Fendi, you will go into the store, and if you were a VIP client, Fendi will get you into this private room, show you this digital screen where you were able to design your own jacket in 3D. And this was only for the selected few. And guess what? It was performing crazy well. We were able to launch a few 3D ads for Tiffany's bracelets. And the results were outstanding. More than 160% increase in engagement. I cannot say the sales figures because I'm not allowed to, but it drove significant sales uplift for the Tiffany's jewelries to be sold online. Adidas was able to start saving a lot of money digitalizing content from imagery to 3D to push to websites instead of having to bring physical products, photo shoot them, create the content, publish it. So we started seeing all these problems that we were solving for them, both on the prototyping phase, content creation, but also customer experience. And that was the aha moment that, holy crap, we actually have a tool that can solve problems. And then we were able to use the numbers, build case studies, and then go and start winning all these other brands in the world. And right now we're sitting to the epicenter of digital transformation for all these major brands. We're working with Amazon, AWS, Salesforce, you name it. And we've built this infrastructure that through images, through heavy industrial 3D files, we're able to convert all these things into very usable 3D assets, which then the brands can use to create static renders, CGI videos, 3D viewers to dynamically browse a product, 3D configurators to customize dynamically your products, 3D ads to be able to see a product in a banner and interact with it, even optimize those 3D assets to deploy them within games if you want to sell them within Roblox or whatever. And all these things are also attached with user behavior data. So at every instance, once you publish the solutions, you can see how users interact with your products. How many times do they spin them? Have they spent more time on the top part of your product and then shifted to the bottom part of the product? Is there a correlation with that browsing? Do you learn something about that behavior? And we feed that data back to the design teams and the commerce teams, and then they're using it in their own ways to either amplify future collections or optimize their conversion skill tactics on the consumer-facing channels. So all of a sudden, we went from a nice to have to a really important to have tool, and we have all these brands spending money and closing 2 or 3 year deals with us because they see that as an investment as they amplify their workflows, processes, and entering into the new era of product discovery.